gannet is an odd-looking bird. This particular species would be extinct today if it were not for Neil Morford, owner of the world's last flying gannet. She was purchased in scrapyard condition and has required extensive rebuilding by Neil and his small team to regain her certificate of airworthiness. The gannet is powered by 2 jet engines which drive contra-rotating propellers, making her one of the most complicated of aircraft to work on.
The most unusual aircraft that's flying at the moment, I think. I don't think there's anything comparable. It's the last gannet that will ever fly. It's a beautiful aeroplane. It looks very ugly to start with, but when you've flown it for a while, it becomes quite a character. It's nice.
Her role with the Royal Navy was as a carrier-borne early warning plane. That role has now changed. Today, she provides pleasure for the hundreds and thousands of enthusiasts at the air shows, where Neil Morford puts the world's last flying gannet through her paces.
It's a very nice aeroplane to fly. The basic controls are similar to any other aircraft. The complication comes in the engines and the propellers. It's got 2 jet engines, each driving its own propeller, and the interrelation between the 2 is very complicated. At the beginning of the Second World War, the British bomber forces were given completely new equipment in the form of low-wing monoplane bombers, with twin engines and retractable undercarriages. And in the case of this machine, the technically fascinating Wellington, with its geodetic structure, invented by Dr. Barnes Wallis of Dam Buster fame. The Wellington Bomber was another example of innovative British design. Conceived and built in 1939 at Vickers Armstrong's factory at Brooklands Aerodrome, Weybridge, it became Britain's best medium bomber of the early war period. The Wellington III had a range of 1,930 kilometers and could carry a payload of 2,040 kilograms of bombs. It was here that the story of the RAF serial number N29080, R for Robert, begins. It made its first flight on the 16th of November 1939, taking part in 14 bombing raids before transferring to number 20 operational training unit at Lossiemouth in Scotland. Whilst on a navigational training flight, it ran into blizzard conditions and one engine packed up. Six of the crew escaped by parachute, though sadly the rear gunner's parachute failed to open. The pilot, squadron leader Marwood Elton, with his co-pilot, later ditched the aircraft on the vast expanse of Loch Ness.
and escaped by dinghy, watching their aeroplane sink behind them. There it lay, 220 feet below the water's surface, from the 31st of December 1940 until 1976, when the image of an aeroplane appeared on the sonar screen of an American research team looking for the remains of the Loch Ness monster. A team was formed, the Loch Ness Wellington Association. The Vickers plan was to lift the aeroplane from above by 12 5-ton nylon straps, the whole being lifted to the surface using parachute-type airbags. The wing section from tip to tip, including the center section, engines, undercarriages, and nearly full fuel tanks were recovered. The following day, the tail section was raised, though the gun turret had to wait another 2 years. Cleaning, corrosion protection, and repairing and rebuilding commenced almost immediately. The majority of the structure is that which survived 45 years underwater. One large section of the fuselage had to be completely rebuilt as a result of damage at the bottom of Loch Ness, and there are some minor new parts to replace those missing or badly damaged. The work has continued for 10 years, using over 90,000 volunteer man-hours. Many of those contributing use skills dating from their own wartime association with the aeroplane, including an RAF pilot who flew Arthur Robert just 1 month before it was ditched.